Hi. Um, so I said I would make a follow-up video to my BED video, but I wanted to make another video about a movie that just came out. I'm sure you've heard about it. It's the Joker movie. I'm a very big DC fan, and I wanted to talk about this movie because I've already seen it 3 times, and I've had time to think about it, and I wanted to make a movie reviewing it. But I'm not a critic, I'm not a reviewer, I'm not a professional, not a blogger. So I thought about just doing a video talking about what the movie meant to me, how it spoke to me. And so I came out with 2 points, 2 major points, on 2 major talking points, basically. So the first one is I think the movie forces you to be compassionate. I think the main underlying theme of the movie is compassion. So the character over the course of the movie is beaten up, is bullied, and so you start empathizing with him because of course he's bullied. But then he becomes the Joker, he becomes a villain, he starts killing people, and so you start saying, hey, you know, there's there's a limit. But you understand what he does because you understand the motives behind it. And you're not rooting for those actions. You're not rooting for him to kill, which is one of the reasons why a lot of bloggers kind of misconstrued the messages behind the movie. It's a whole discourse. I don't want to get into that, but there is a clear stopping point when you stop you stop sympathizing with the actions that he does. And I came up with an analogy that I think applies to this example. It's like when a friend falls into a very deep, dark spiral, and you can't just come back from, and you understand why he's going through that, but obviously you're not rooting for that. You're not rooting for a friend that starts drinking, even though you understand why he starts to drink, or he's going through drugs, or he's starting to eat, or he's doing bad stuff. You're rooting for him to do good, to be better, because you understand his life. You're his friend. So I think the movie forces you to be compassionate. It's the major theme of the movie, and it basically forces you to be compassionate. It's amazing. It's great. But at the same time, it forces you not to sympathize with the actions he does, because of course it stops you from doing so. And the other point, move to the other point, is what I call the bad apple problem. And this is not exactly inside. It's not exactly a theme inside the movie, although it kind of is. It's basically when a movie generally a movie talks about a clear-cut villain, one villain or a group of villains. It's generally a wrinkle in an otherwise perfect system. The lone wolf, the rogue dictator, the rogue general, or the bad capitalist. Have you seen the what's it called? Mary Poppins Returns. It always happens that there is one or a few bad people that ruin a perfect party, basically. But removing those elements, by removing those elements, the system returns to a perfect state. Um, and this movie does a completely different thing because it doesn't blame the rogue dictator or the bad apple or the lone wolf. It blames the system that leads to the bad apple, the lone dictator, or the lone wolf. And I think that, oh, sorry for my cold. I've had a bad week. Um, so it blames the system that leads to um, that dictator, and that challenging of the status quo is something that I think Hollywood barely ever even considers. It barely ever does anymore, at least. And yeah, I think it's so incredible. Now there are a few things. I have some notes, but I don't want to talk about it because it's another discourse. Um, so yeah, that was the second point. I'm trying to keep this video a little bit shorter, not 40 minutes. Maybe I'll do more videos. Who knows? So, that was the end. Maybe I'll do more. See you next time. Bye. Oh, and thank you for all the subscribers.